Hi, how's it going? I'm gonna go live for a little bit. Just it's pretty late at night for me right now. I'm just gonna go live over here, and I'm gonna go over Knifehead. Knifehead is a character from Pacific Rim. He's a kaiju, and I'm just gonna go over kind of this drawing and talk a little bit about how I'm doing it, and maybe you can learn a little bit from it. But otherwise, this is gonna be like a chill live. A lot of it's gonna be more based on just kind of talking about art in general as opposed to specific skills, but I will definitely talk about certain things I'm doing. I'm drawing in this like tiny sketchbook right now. It's real small. The sketchbook is, yeah, actually, that would look better, huh? Let me see if I can fix the camera a little bit. Right here. Let's move it over here. But yeah, I was gonna say, Knifehead from Pacific Rim, awesome kaiju. And I'm kind of just starting the process right now, so you can kind of see it from beginning to end. And what I did was I just kind of penciled in something pretty quick, and I want to go into them and just start kind of filling out different stuff. The cool thing about stuff like this is that you're pretty much always, if you mess up per se, it's not like that big a deal because a lot of these guys they're so complicated with like organic shapes that move around a lot that it's it's not really going to be a bit the worst thing. Thanks for the likes, by the way. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I hope TikTok doesn't go away, but it looks like it probably will. I'm gonna start going live on my YouTube channel. I think the link is over there somewhere. If you don't know it though, my YouTube channel is Sketch Monster Daily, and I was just posting some of the lives from here, but I guess I'll just start doing original lives over there. And yeah, I'm just gonna start kind of posting live over there as much as I can every day if possible, because all that stuff is just incredibly rewarding. And yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I've been going live here for maybe a month or so, and I'm like, man, I should have been doing this for years. That's like a huge regret for me. I really should have been going live a lot more than I was. I think I did it like once or twice in the past. I just always kind of found it nerve-wracking, and then now that, I don't know, it just seems so much more comfortable to me. I was like, dang, this is so cool. Thanks for the likes, by the way. For Yareli, hey, thank you. But yeah, it's as far as drawing goes in general, I'm just kind of putting in a couple of little things right here. Well, with every drawing, I'm trying to think of like what can I do to make it like less generic of a pose. And I'm thinking like, I don't know, man. I can kind of like try to pull some differences out of it, but for the most part, it's pretty tough to pull like something unique out of a character you didn't design. I guess you can kind of change a couple of things up and it might work, but normally you want to get creative. I've been looking at a lot of redesigns to famous characters on Instagram, and I'm pretty impressed by some of these people on there. I think it's pretty amazing, especially the cartoon style ones, because even though I was a caricature artist at SeaWorld, I was never much of a, I don't know, I guess I do have a cartoon channel, I suppose, on YouTube, but I don't know, it always felt a little differently. I wasn't like, I don't know if Knifehead, yeah, he does have a tongue. I was going to say, does Knifehead even have a tongue? I think he does. It's funny too, like watching the original Pacific Rim is one of the probably more entertaining things I've done in the last couple of weeks over there. I saw it again and I'm like, dang, it's really good. Some of the GG is dated though, I will say that. But in general, like I think that the film holds up as like just kind of a fun movie. I mean, it's really goofy and it's kind of like they're trying to be an anime come to life. But I think the visuals, even though some of the CG's dated, like the designs and stuff like that are like super top notch. It's like wild how top notch some of the designs on it are so crazy good. Even though the story was a little like more or less kind of generic, kind of depends. But yeah, so that's some Great stuff. It's kind of going in, putting the lines here, just kind of getting friendly with it. I would say in general too, like when you're doing this kind of stuff, this is a tiny sketchbook, like I said, really really small sketchbook. When you're doing stuff like this, it tends to you have to be careful because it's such a small. It's like one of those leather ones. You ever got one of those and you're like afraid to put something in it? That's totally where I was at a while ago. Now I don't care, but before I was like, oh man, this is one of those like leather sketchbooks. It's gonna get weird. It's gonna get like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna like if you mess it up, you're like, oh man, I have to like, tear that page out, and then it's one of those kinds of sketchbooks that's knitted together, so it's gonna tear the opposing page out. So it's like, oh well, it is what it is. Let me see over here. Kind of pulling this guy's Chad jaw back there. He's got this really wide fin in the back. Because I think he was based like on a hammerhead shark-ish. And a couple of things like that. Or no, I'm sorry. You know who he was based on? He was based on a goblin shark. I'm sorry. Yeah. He was, this guy, Knifehead, is based on a goblin shark. Because that's literally what he looks like. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say that's what it was. All right, I'm going to go over here. What's up, Rob? All right. All right, line over here. As far as like stuff I've been reading, I read the Jaleel White story, which was kind of funny. He played Urkel in Family Matters from the 90s. I thought that was an interesting book. I thought it was entertaining and it held my attention, so that's kind of all you can ask for, right? All right, let's see his neck. I'm going to shrink his neck a little bit from what I had it. I think it's just way too big. I don't think, even though it makes sense for a character like this to have a huge neck, I just don't think it's going to work. All right, going up here, see the process. Going over here as well, kind of throwing in a couple of lines. And it's funny too, like watching these things, I haven't watched like a full-blown demo in a while from some of the artists that I admire. It's been a little bit, but yeah, it looks like Pinterest is pretty bad now, right? Like it's like all like, weird AI stuff now. Like when I try to look for stuff, unless I'm looking for like machinery or something like that, like reference, but yeah, it looks pretty... It's pretty bad. It's pretty grim. It's kind of upsetting. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to have to keep kind of filing reference of stuff as well. But it's like hard to find like actual real art. So it's just something I have to dig for now. It's kind of hard to learn from stuff. Line over here. All right, we got his neck over here. Pretty big neck, I was going to say. Got a little bit of folding in it. Those are like little extra details. So let's go all the way to the end of his head, which is that knife part. Let me see. So we're going to go over here, which is going to be a little bit off the page. Pulling in. Pulling in right here. Just kind of going in, getting a little bit of an idea. Thanks for the likes. God, you're so nice. Who is that? It's amazing. Thanks so much. All right. Cool. And I'm going to go here to the top as well and just kind of throw that line in there. At the top. Dang, making a long line like that is quite hard. It's not perfectly straight. I just kind of like pulled it over, right? But that's the cool part about stuff like this. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, right? Because this guy's like an organic creature that is interacting here. All right, and let's see. We are gonna go to, let's see. I'm gonna grab a kneaded eraser and just get rid of the pencil lines. Pencil lines are like annoying me. I always do kneaded eraser, by the way. I don't know if you guys use that too. Kneaded eraser is basically where it's like a little, thank you for the likes. Oh my God. Yeah, it's amazing. The kneaded eraser is that little like squishy thing. You know what I'm saying? little squishy eraser where it's amazing. Get one. If you don't have a kneaded eraser, absolutely get one. It's perfect. It's just like the best thing that there's ever been, like for erasing. I don't know why people use gum erasers. Gum erasers are like these square weird blocks, and I have no clue why people use those because I just don't think those are very good. All right. As far as other things in drawing, I'm finishing a comic right now. I'm in an anthology. If you're not sure what an anthology is basically where, like, you know, several different artists and writers come together. Sorry, I'm like, my hand's blocking everything right now. But an anthology is where several different artists and writers come together to do like their own different stories and put it into one collection. And I am doing that. I think the deadline is due February. I'm done with like 95% of the line art. And so I'm just going to be getting on that as soon as I can. All right, let's see over here. I'm going to be having to finish that as soon as I can just to kind of get it done, you know. And all right, let's go over here. Throwing it. And now we can just kind of put in all the details we want, right? Now it's kind of like, thank you for the likes, by the way. I appreciate that, man. Little potato. I'm not going to color this one, no. I'm not. I think I'm just going to like try to go into it with as much detail as I can. I'm probably going to put in some dark shapes too. So let me see where that is. I have like a this thing. Wait, no, that's not the right one. There's another one that I need to get like large dark areas really fast. And that little baby pen I had, it's not gonna do it. So I'm gonna need to do it with like, you could do it with a Sharpie, but I had a better one over here that I'm trying to find, and I cannot find it right now. Dang. I'm just going to have to go into, I'm just going to do the best I can then with like this, to be honest. But, yeah, because normally what happens is I would get like a dark swath and start putting it underneath the neck here, maybe certain areas of the eyes, but you can kind of just darken. I don't know. We'll make the best of it with this, and then just kind of go into it from here. I'll try to darken in the eye area first to kind of create a focus, which is really important, right? When you do that sort of thing. Going over here, you can kind of guide it if you want. You can draw these little like curved lines. Over here, drawing these little baby curves over here along the edge of the mouth and stuff like that, trying to make it look a little, like show off the form just a little bit. When you're doing stuff like that, you're showing off the form. You're completely showing off the form where you're doing stuff like that. So it's meaning you're showing off the shape of the surface that you're drawing on. That's pretty much what I mean by when I say you're showing off the form. Maybe in the mouth here as well. I might get the Sharpie. The problem with the Sharpie is sometimes it'll do like a different shade of black, you know? So it might be it won't be like the right one. So I'm like kind of afraid of that right now. I don't want it to look too odd. But if I need to, I will. You know, if I need to, I'll absolutely do it. All right. Going over here. Putting it down. Throwing in these little small little lines right here as we're doing that. Kind of putting it in there. And just kind of going over here under the neck because, like, even though they're kaijus, they're still going to have dark areas under the neck, right? Because it's, like, right under the jaw. It's pretty close. The jaw is, like, usually creating a little bit of a dark space underneath because the light's almost always coming from above. Not every single time, but many times the lighting is coming from above. So it is something that you have to, like, think about a little bit as far as who's coming, what time. Yeah, so you're just kind of making the best. I'm kind of scratching it in there to kind of give it a little bit of something. He looks like a Joker fish right now. Let's draw some more darks on his gum line. I think that would probably help a lot too. I think his gum line would need a little bit of right there. It's going to be a little bit of darkness. And like I said, I love this character. Love this character. Yeah, this is such a cool, crazy design from Pacific Rim. I saw that cartoon from Pacific Rim. I thought that was really neat. But I definitely would like a third movie because I did not like that second Pacific Rim movie. I thought it was the one with John Boyega. I just did not like it. I thought it was really weird. I thought it was really strange and really boring. So I was kind of hoping that they would, I don't know, just do another one. I'm always like rooting for like more movies because they'll have more trials, right? Some people will be like, nah, I don't want another movie. It's bad or whatever. But I always like them to give it another shot, even though I guess if you take, for example, like Terminator, I guess most of those are not great, right? The newer ones after like two. But there was parts of them that were pretty enjoyable. I wasn't, you know, I'm not that harsh on movies, but there's definitely, I can tell you the last movie I think I hated, actually. I really did not like, and it's only for personal reasons. So if you like it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about it. It's just me. I didn't like it for personal reasons, but I did not like the new Mortal Kombat. I did not like that movie. There wasn't a tournament in it. So that kind of bugged me. And I didn't like the main character, Cole or something. He wasn't even from the game. And I was like, man, this movie's lame. But, I mean, they're going to do another one. And they want Carl Urban in it. And I like Carl Urban a lot. So I'll definitely watch the second one for sure. Like, I'll definitely give it a chance. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the first one. I kind of do that a lot. I'll give everything a chance. Or I'll try to see the good and stuff that people didn't like. Didn't like, but yeah, other than that, like I said, I'm going over, I'm trying to draw mechs a little better. I think my mechs are okay, but I want them to be like better than okay, the mech robots, I want them to be just better. So a lot of that's just kind of looking at different robots and just kind of drawing them for the most part, like drawing these studies and really being careful and trying to see like what design sense you can take from them. I'm surprised anybody's up, by the way. I mean, well, I guess I forgot. People are like all over the place. I'm in the, what do you call it? The West Coast. So for me, it's like 12 at night. And yeah, normally I'm up later than that, but Sharkman, yeah. Well, it's Knifehead from Pacific Rim. I guess, like I said, he was based on a goblin shark, I think. So yeah, kind of a shark man, totally kind of a shark man, I think. But yeah, good stuff. I want a cool figure of him, and I know there are cool action figures of him, but I think the ones I saw are either way too expensive or the ones that exist are like, I don't know, kind of cheap. So it's either all or nothing on that. So I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I'll deal with not having a. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna draw a little. This little knob right here. He has it on the other side too. So I'll probably draw it sticking out a little bit there. There we go. Sweet. Right on. Alrighty. Yep. And continuing to kind of look at this chin, and again, we're putting in little lines over here. I like doing that. I just like playing with these small lines. I think it's kind of like scratches like an itch, I guess, mentally for me. So I like throwing in these little dots, little lines. Yeah, I'm really big on rendering that way, to be honest. I know some people are different. They like more of the big swatchy stuff, right? Like the giant swatchy. But I'm a lot more onto the, just simple, just, really, just, I don't know. Like I said, like the smaller stuff. I'm more of a fan of that, personally. But there's definitely a time where you don't want to go too detailed, like too tiny on stuff like that, because it starts to become a little much. They become a little messy, and you don't really want to do that. But yeah, it just like a little much. They become a little messy, and you don't really want to do that. But yeah, it just, like I said, it's about what your taste is, really. Like, who are you influenced by, and like, what your decisions are. I mean, to say it like for the 100th time, because I say it almost every live, but drawing is about it's about decision making. It's about your decision making, right? Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna change? What are you gonna affect? Like, are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do that? It's all about like you doing kind of what you want eventually. I guess the bad part is, in order to get to that you have to learn so many basic drawing skills in order to get to that point where you can just kind of like play around. And I think most people quit before they reach that point. So yeah, it's just it's I get it. I understand the frustration. I've been there as well. I think a lot of it I think is mental strain, or obviously it's practice and all that technical stuff, but I think a lot of it is knowing you can be better. Like, some people just, I've noticed, I've taught a lot of people, and some of these people they don't even believe they can get better. That's what's strange about it. And I'm like, dang, that's so interesting. I felt that way as well, but it takes you like a while to figure out that you totally can. You can totally, no matter what age you are, no matter where you're at, you can totally become better at drawing and painting and all that stuff, no matter where you are. I think the key is just not putting stress on yourself by saying stuff like that to yourself. Sometimes you say it internally, though. You kind of internally say, hey, I can't do this, or hey, I can't draw a little bit better, or oh, I'm not, I wasn't born that way, or something. I don't know. Like, it's not an innate skill, etc. Even though there's like hundreds of people online that draw really well and say like they learned it, that they weren't innately good at it. But yeah, it's just you have to kind of like, it sounds super lame, by the way, but you have to believe, you gotta believe you can become better. Thanks for the rose, John. I appreciate it. But yeah, you have to like believe you can actually do it, which is like the first step, right? If you don't actually think you can do it ever, you're never, it's true, right? You're never going to do it. The first step is kind of knowing you can definitely do it. Then you can start, right? Just playing around, having fun, really, really trying to draw better, like like learning these small skills in drawing and making yourself better gradually. That stuff comes from understanding that you can do that's an option, right? Because it is. And yeah, I could teach my mom or something, my sister, probably, to draw better if I wanted to. Maybe I can do that as an experiment or something like that. But yeah, all of this stuff is, yeah, I really can't think of a reason why somebody can't. I really can't. But as long as you can learn, and you can, you got to, keep that. I don't even think you have to keep the love of, thanks so much, Ezrella, for the little heart thingy. Thank you for the finger heart. Thank you so much. I was going to say, yeah, you don't really need to, well, thank you for the heart puff, Ezrella. Thank you. It's amazing. Yay. But yeah, like when you're doing this sort of stuff, you pretty much, yeah, it's hard, man. Like, I think that's what held me back. I think for me, it was just like, dang, I'm just like, I can't do this, and plus you kind of see some of these people as like, there's definitely certain artists I saw as like godlike almost, where you're just like, dude, I'll never be like that guy, there's certainly people like that I have in mind. But I know at the end of the day, you kind of know that they're all human, right? And it doesn't really matter, and everybody learns from different sources, whether it be online or in person or wherever. And there's good artists everywhere. And when you kind of see that, I would say one of the things for me that very much, blew my, my expectations of people, and kind of made me learn a lot more of kind of what's possible, was probably going to Art Center. I've talked about this before. Art Center in Pasadena. when I was going there, you would see like these 18-year-olds from like China that flew over from China and were like insanely good right off the bat, and you're like, what is happening here? you know, um, like this person can already work, and you're like, wow, okay, this guy's better than almost everybody I've ever met, and he's like 18. This is wild, and he's not like, he's not special there. That's what's wild about it. There are a lot of people just like him, and that kind of opened my mind because then I'm like, oh, I better step it up. Wow, if they're expecting anything close to that. And I always say this, I was never better than when I was at that school at Art Center, because you're drawing all day, every day. You're doing different projects. They're forcing you, right? Because it's a school. They're forcing you to finish stuff, with like deadlines. You're surrounded by other artists that are, better than you. And you know what I mean? Like everybody's just obsessed with it. That's all you're talking about. You're just talking about art day in, day out. Different about this, different that, design this, design that, like this program. And that's all you're doing. Like all day, every day. And, for like the whole semester, well, we were on a term. So, but that's all we're doing. Is that the Chainsaw Man? No, it's a knife head from, Pacific Rim. It's like a kaiju. But yeah, you're right. It does remind me of Chainsaw Man. I guess not, because it's sticking out the head there. I want to draw Chainsaw Man after this too. Maybe not like today, obviously, but I want to draw Chainsaw Man as well. I have this like little sketchbook, as it opens up, right? So I kind of wanted to maybe connect both pages to give it, I don't know, it's a little bit of style. When someone looks through my sketchbook, they're like, oh, cool. Like you stuck this one together, kind of continues on to the next page. So kind of like that. The two things I'm working on the most on my own time is dynamic poses and then robots. Like those are the two things I'm working on the most. They're both pretty okay. Like I'm like passable in both. But I want to get like better, And one thing I don't do a whole lot is I don't do a whole lot of just simple studying, like studying a shape, like drawing something and then drawing it again, then getting it into my long-term memory. I don't do that a lot. I tend to draw like from life mostly. And maybe like photos and stuff, but I don't do that for like, I don't know, like drawing from other artists' stuff to kind of get an idea of what they're doing, to kind of see the process. It's good for you, but I find studies to be very, very time consuming. I don't know. I'll start doing them. That'll be one of my goals. I should have been doing them for years already, but I just find them to be really tedious. And I guess the main part of studying, would be it's not rewarding, because all I'm doing is copying what another artist is doing and just kind of like, I mean, I guess the point is to just learn from it and then whatever, chuck it or whatever, because it's not mine. But I guess the whole idea is you want to learn it and then integrate it to your own style, right? That's the point. And I don't know. I'll do it, I guess. That'll probably be it. Because I've been trying to like get my patience higher too. I've always been impatient. That's another thing that slowed me down. I was just never a patient guy. Because I think for the longest time, I didn't like drawing. I've talked about this before. For like the longest time, I did not like drawing. I just saw it as a means to an end. I'm just like, I want the picture. Meat Canyon. Oh, dang. Yeah, like Meat Canyon. Wait, like there's a character named Meat Canyon, or you mean Meat Canyon, the YouTube channel and all that? Like I love Meat Canyon, the Meat Canyon. I love it. I guess maybe in rendering style, the Meat Canyon's a little bit more, I would say they have bigger eyes and stuff like that. They tend to have like more animated looks, I feel. I feel like this is more like just like illustration-y to me, or video gamey, because they have like a small eye. I don't know, that's what I think, but Metal Marissa. Interesting. I'll look that up later. I'm drawing right now, but I will absolutely look that up later. But what was I saying? Yeah, I think for the longest time, I just didn't like drawing that much. And I think it affected, I'm going to go down here and do some of these. For the longest time, it just kind of affects how you think. And it affects how good you get, because you're not putting in the practice, or you're putting in the wrong kind of practice. I think when I didn't like to draw, I just saw it as like, oh, I got to finish this. I got to put this. It was all like, what do you call it? Like results based, which we should be. Reminds me of a kaiju. It is the kaiju from Pacific Rim, HRT. It is. It is. It's totally the kaiju from Pacific Rim. Yeah, like I was gonna say, yeah, for a while, like it felt like a job, right? You're just like, oh, I gotta finish this just to finish this. There's a lot of that going on with me. Like I would say through most of my art career, and even it still creeps back. By the way, now it'll still creep back that feeling, and I have to like remind myself, like, no, like, hey, I'm spending time doing this. I might as well like enjoy the ride, right? I'm enjoying the process of it, process oriented, I guess that's what they call it. And it's great. It's great to do that. It feels good. It starts to feel good. You start to feel like, oh wow, I mean, obviously that stuff kind of hits the wall when, not when, but when there's like a big deadline and you're just like, oh dang, there's a deadline. I have to do this. So you just kind of, I don't know. It kind of makes you aware of that deadline. And you're like, oh dang, what is that? Is that a firecracker outside? Oh. But it kind of makes you aware of that deadline. And you're like, oh dang, I gotta get this done, right? So then that stuff can kind of, creep back there. Let me see. How do I get this without like blocking the camera? Let me see this. You went through most of your life now enjoying the rest. Yeah, it was kind of a plateau. I think after 2 years, I plateaued really hard. And then I started getting better again when I came back, I think like a year later. And then I probably did enjoy it. I mean, it was probably like hints back and forth where I really liked it and then didn't like it and then really liked it, and then liked it again. And I think only like in the last 3 years, I spend most of the time liking it. Like probably in the last 3 or 4 years where I actually really love it now. But like I said, sometimes every now and then it'll creep into like, oh, I got to get this done. Let me see if I can get my hand out of the way. Dang, I've never drawn like this because I have to draw like from up down right now, so I don't block the camera. That is kind of hard. Let me see. I can still do it, but it's not easy. Is that a self-portrait of Ellen DeGeneres? That's awesome. I love that. Oh, Ellen. She's gone, right? Oh, Ellen. But I don't know. I never saw the show, so I have no idea. That's like a daytime show that was like made for like, what, housewives or something, right? I don't know. You know what I mean? Or people that are home all day. I don't know. I never saw it. Not my demographic, I guess. Yeah. Let me see. So I guess there's not as much detail on the actual blade, or I guess it's not a blade, right? It's like a horn or something. I guess, I don't know. I guess it'd probably be made of keratin. I'm trying to think of like what this would be made of. It would probably be made of, but he's a water guy though, right? He's like a shark man. It'd probably be like hard cartilage or something. I'm trying to think of like what that thing would be made of. Yeah, because keratin, it would look like a horn. But this is like a hard structure inside his body though, as opposed to like a horn that's sticking out of the body that you could like trim, because I don't think you can trim this thing. Yeah, maybe ivory, yeah. But other than that, yeah, I think another goal is to draw my people. I guess, it's funny when I say like all my art goals, but I'm like, the goal is always to get better, you know what I mean, at everything. So it's like funny. But I'm just focusing on the tech right now and stuff like that. I'll probably do a lot more about people, I think, too. I should draw more people, honestly. I don't draw as many people. I don't know. I used to draw nothing but people from real life. Like that's what they trained me on first. It was like portrait drawing, right? Like these portraits on giant newsprint paper. So I was like, man, like as soon as I got into like drawing monsters and stuff, I'm like, I love this. I can't get over this. You can draw stuff that's like, that you watch in media, you know what I mean? You can make up stuff from your head, like monster styles, monster designs. You're just like, man, I got so addicted to that. And I'm like, dang, this is just so fun to create stuff that doesn't exist, right? Or at least like cool creatures, or like even animals, I guess is true. And like animals do exist, but I don't know. I'm just more fascinated by creatures and stuff like that than normal people. But I gotta get more into normal people. I think I want to create some of these. Like some people will draw people sitting down or something, like at a bench, and it looks so like emotional. And it's just like, oh wow, he's just sitting there. I wonder what, like, I don't know. Just the way they draw it has such like a flow to it. So I'm kind of like, I should aim for that as well. Just kind of like relax and take my time. Some of this stuff I'm saying too, like I said, it's applying to myself as well. Monsters can have emotion. They totally can. I agree. You're right. Monsters totally can have emotion. I just saw Nosferatu. I mean, he's kind of human-like. I mean, he's like a vampire, right? But he's got a lot of monster qualities himself. That was pretty cool. It was a cool movie. It was definitely slow, but I like slow movies. Like, I really do. I think the ye old English threw me off a little bit because I definitely don't. It felt hard to follow in the beginning because I was like, dang, there's so much ye old English, and I just kind of zone out, even though I know what they're saying. But it's like, no, it's not Shin Godzilla, but I do love Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla is one of my favorites. It is Knifehead from Pacific Rim. Knifehead, because they got their own right. They got their own lineup of kaijus. But I would love to see a kaiju. What do you call it? Like a crossover? I know they've been talking about it for years, right? Like Godzilla versus like Pacific Rim. I think that's the next step, right, for the movies. He's got to start fighting giant robots. I think. I mean, he already fought Mechagodzilla, but I meant like Gundams or, you know what I mean? Something piloted by like humans. I think that would be the next step for Godzilla, the next Godzilla movie. Because the last Godzilla movie was like insane. I was like, oh my gosh. I was laughing. I mean, I liked it, but it was so silly, that last Godzilla movie. It was like, I think it wasn't an orangutan, right? It was like a red. I'm saying Godzilla has emotion. Godzilla does have emotion. You're right. I think Godzilla has emotion. Yeah, you're right. He does. Let me see this. Anyways, it's getting late. I'm going to let you guys go, but thanks for watching my live. I'll be on tomorrow, though, for sure, until they ban TikTok. So I'll be here, but I'll see you guys later.